Hey, what's going on, Rockstars? Welcome to the channel. This video is going to be a little bit different than my normal content, but it has a moral to the story at the end, so stick with me. It's about business and maximizing your business profit and your business output without actually doing anything different or out of the normal from what you normally do, but making just small little changes that can actually result in huge growth. So let me tell you a story from back in 2014. I looked this up and I've known about this story since probably when it happened. So it went viral in 2014, which going viral wasn't really a thing in 2014, but it was all over every news story. It was like CNN, Fox News, CNBC, MSNBC, it was everywhere. And it was about a 13 or 14-year-old kid who was tasked with doing like a science project, and he decided to look into the school systems, his local school systems or county government buildings, and the amount of paper that they were wasting and the amount of ink that they were wasting through all these handouts and all this paperwork that they were putting out, right? And keep with me here because this was 2014, so some things have changed in the last 10 years, obviously. But he looked at this and he said, man, you know, they're wasting hundreds of thousands of pieces of paper and thousands of gallons of ink every year here in the county, and they could save money simply by changing the size of their font and by their font style, because he figured out that certain fonts write thicker than other thinner fonts, and that would save ink. And also just reducing the font size by 1 or 2 would save a drastic amount of ink as well. And so he went and did a bunch of testing where he printed out the same exact paragraph or same exact paper in different font sizes, different font styles, different types of this and that. And then he took his ink and he would measure the levels of ink and he would print it like 1,000 times or what have you. And he'd figure out that 1,000 pieces in this font and this size used up all of the ink. But if he did it in this font and this size, it used up half the same amount of ink. And he figured out, wow, just changing to this font, this style, this size saves 50%. So if we're spending $1 million a year on ink and toner and paper in this county, in this state, we could save $500,000 simply by changing just the ink or the font size and the font style. He figured this out. And so he went to the federal government. He submitted this. It caught the eye of some people at some very big Ivy League schools. I think it was like Harvard or something, saw it and was like, wow, this is pretty incredible what this 14-year-old kid did. And you can look this up. I'll link the story below. You can actually look this up. True story. And the federal government got a hold of it and was like, man, well, they do 1 million and we do 100 million. Well, long story short, they figured out that the federal government wastes, just from this toner, ink, paper, font size style, $400+ million a year that they could save just by doing what this kid said. It's pretty incredible, right? And so when you look at it in the terms of, this isn't something that the government was doing on purpose, this is just the status quo. But what the government hadn't done, whether it was a state level or federal level, was look into a more efficient way to handle their business. And here comes the moral of our story. So we hear about those stories where the government spends $1,000 on a hammer, right? Well, that's just blatant fraud or blatant misappropriation of funds or just stupidity, right? Like a hammer's not $1,000. That's another story. We're not talking about that. The government's stupid on that all the time anyhow. We're talking about things that seem normal, seem so insignificant, but a font change or a font style that ends up saving the federal government $400 million. It's pretty drastic, right? What does that mean for your business? What's the moral of the story? Well, here's the moral of the story. I've seen somebody who runs a pretty successful reselling business. They ship out hundreds and hundreds of pieces a week / a month, and they were buying these envelopes that were pretty drastically bigger than the items that they were shipping. And I said to them, I said, why do you use these huge, giant envelopes? And they said, well, occasionally we have some big items come through. And I said, I understand, but you're shipping 500 items a month, and 480 of them are normal size and 20 of them are larger. So why don't you buy 500 smaller ones that are 10 cents a piece cheaper, and you buy the one big pack of the bigger ones that hangs around for the whole year? And they said, wow, well, you know, that's $50 savings. I said, right. And if you do that every month, that's $600 you save this year by doing nothing different, no extra time out of your schedule, by simply purchasing a different size that's more efficient, being more time and money efficient. I had some people that are like, well, I go to the post office every day. Right, what does that cost you? You go 5 days a week, right? 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year is 260 trips to the post office. And even if that gas money, even if the post office is just 2 minutes away and you make a round trip start and stop, even if that gas is just, I don't know, $1.50, you just wasted $375. Plus the envelopes. Why not get a pickup from the post office, right? I wish I could in this neighborhood. God, I wish I could. But that's $375 by doing nothing different other than just scheduling a pickup, which is way less time than, driving to the post office, even a 5-minute drive back and forth. Well, what about driving to Walmart or driving to the stores to buy your supplies versus ordering them online, where you can save the gas and the time and probably get a better deal and get it for cheaper? Here's another thing I see. People put stuff on auto reorder. They never go back and say, well, I'm going to buy these poly bags for $200 that I buy every month, when I should just log in and check around for a minute, and I'll probably find one for $180 and I'll save $20. Now this seems all insignificant, $20, $5, $8, but when you add it up over the course of the year, if you're a small business, you could actually end up saving $1,000 or $2,000. And my point and the moral of this story is, you have to operate your business efficiently, the most efficient as possible, to maximize your profits, your time, your money, and your output. Here's the thing. A lot of people don't bother. They're too lazy. And it's like, oh, it's take more time. Really? It's going to take more time for you to order supplies online than go to the store and get it? It's going to take more time for you to order a USPS pickup than it is for you to drive it up there? It's going to take more time for you to do a different font than that font. You just change the font in one click. These are all things that are so minimal in your outlay of time and effort or anything, generally faster than what you're doing now, that if you took the time to maximize the efficiency of every part of your business, you would be drastically more successful. And when you run a small business, when you don't have this $1 million, $2 million, $10 million where you see huge numbers, those little numbers can make a huge difference in a business that makes $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year, and you just saved $2,000. You just increased your profits by 10%. Does that make sense? So I thought I would tell you guys that story to tell you that story, because the teenage kid story from 10 years ago, even though we don't use as much ink and toner and paper because a lot of stuff is digital now, his ability to maximize the efficiency of the US federal government and state government actually helped them to save over $400 million, which is pretty nuts. They could have put that kid on payroll for $400,000 and he would have been just good to go, right? They could have gave him a commission. They could have gave him, 10% or 1%, he would add a $4 million commission. So there are actually, I looked this up, there are actually companies, and they do this for big companies, not little ones, but there are companies that come in, they're consultants, and they look at a business. They'll walk into a business and, a company doing $2-3 million, and they'll go, you're wasting $1,000 a month on that. You're wasting $500 on that. You're wasting $3,000 a month. We just saved you 36 grand that you didn't even know about. And they get a commission. They get a $3,600 paycheck, a 10% commission, one-time commission. They do this for tons of businesses. It's how they make money. It's a great idea. It's a great company, consulting, right? But the moral of the story is, look at every part of your business, whether it's money you're spending on items, whether it's time you're spending to do things, or just your outlay of effort. Where can you save time, money, and be more efficient? Look it over, audit your business, and figure it out. I think that you'll find that it's usually worth your time and your effort to do that one time and start changing how you do stuff across the board, that over the whole length of a year will be a drastic improvement for you. So hopefully you guys take that to heart. I appreciate you watching. As always, I have more great videos coming out for you all month long. If you're interested in an eBay store audit review where I can show you how to be more efficient with your eBay store, please email me, rockstarflipper@gmail.com. I do them for 1 week, 2 weeks, or 4 weeks. It's $25, $50, or $99. I'll get your store right. I'll get you more sales. I have hundreds of reviews I can show you from customers that I have helped increase their sales drastically. And if you're watching this video and you've been one of my review customers, please comment down below so everyone can see just how well having another set of eyes on your eBay store does for you. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate you being here. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, come back, watch future videos, and I'll see you next time.